Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. So today I want to show you how I built this little machine sitting right in front of me. Now this thing drills holes repetitively, very quickly, and with exact precision. Check this out. Now what's really cool about this, even though I only have one drill on this system, I could add 2, 3, 4, 5 drills to a system if I wanted to complete all those holes with just one pull of a lever. Now I'm going to show you how I built this, and this was really kind of a straightforward build, even though it might not look like it. I designed it over in SketchUp, and it's made up of some simple parts. It's got a base, stanchions, a substructure that has an arched groove in it. That's what actuates the whole drill. It's got its top plate and the part where the drill is mounted to, and we're just going to call that the sliding plate. Before we get into this any further, let me show you how we built this. After designing a project like this, using a CNC to cut it out is the most efficient way to get the work done. But anybody that has CNC experience will tell you that the CNC doesn't do everything. It just basically cuts out the parts. There's still quite a bit of prep work after it comes off the machine to get it ready for assembly. For me, when assembling a machine like this, I'll start by making sure the important bits fit like they're supposed to, move like they're supposed to, and also make sure the holes and everything are lined up, so I know that as I move further into the build, I'm not going to run into any issues. Once I have that accomplished, I'll start by doing some sanding, round over, tweaking any fits to make sure that everything is going to behave properly as we get further into this project. Figuring that out at the beginning is very helpful, because if there's a part that's not quite doing what it's supposed to do, it's pretty easy to go ahead and just make another one rather than try and fuss with it later on in the project. Now once I know everything's going to fit together, I start with the sub-assembly. The sub-assembly consists of this base plate with 4 stanchions on it, and on top of those stanchions is this circle piece of plywood that has an arched groove and a second hole. The second hole is just for waste material to go down. Now the arched groove is probably the most important cut on this project. It needs to be smooth enough that when I put a bearing in there, it will ride through that really smoothly, and that's going to create a really good action. The next step is to add a bearing to the plate that's going to hold the drill, the plate that moves back and forth in this whole assembly. To do that, I'm just going to thread or tap some threads directly into the plywood. I'm not going to do anything more than that. That's plenty secure for this operation. I'm going to add a washer above and below the bearing before I tighten it down to the plate, and that's going to make sure that it keeps it down towards the plywood, and if there's any debris buildup in there, it won't cause any problems, and it ensures that the bearing will work smoothly. To hold the plate in place to the system, I'm using a couple pieces of wood that just screw to the main plate and it hover over the plate that moves back and forth. Now, I cut it out of 3/4 inch plywood, but I don't want it that thick, so I'm going to rip it down on the bandsaw before I attach it. The taller pieces, or 3/4 inch thick pieces, would interfere with the drill when I start mounting that to this whole system. To mount the drill to the plate, I'm going to use a drill collar, and this particular drill has holes on both sides with some 3/8 thread. So between the plate collar and the hole that I can thread something into, I should have a really secure hold. Now, if I need to add more to that, I can do that after I've got it built and tested it. But for the most part, I think this is going to be plenty. Now on the plate collar, I had to split that in half before I glued it and screwed it down to the plate, because the chuck on the drill is a little bit wider than the collar is, but this works quite well. Now, to turn the drill on and off throughout its motion, I'm using a foot pedal switch. Now this particular foot pedal switch works in two ways. You can either press it down and let go, it'll stay on, or if you just press it down a little bit, it'll be an intermittent switch. So once you take the pressure off, it'll stop. In this case, we want it to act as an intermittent switch. So I'm going to attach it to the base plate, and then that weird kind of banana looking piece underneath it is supposed to be positioned just low enough that when it comes across the foot switch, that it just barely presses it down. Now in this case, I had to add a little bit of extra work to this part because of the angle of the foot switch. The outer side would occasionally push it too far down to turn it off. So to accomplish that, I just drew a line on the part where I needed to remove some material, took it out to my bench outside because I can make a lot of dust out there. And I got a chance to try out this kit that I got from Taylor Toolworks. It's a 3M abrasive kit that all works on the angle grinder. Now, I like kits like this because you save a lot of money. I think there's like $170 worth of stuff in there, and it only cost $75. So, and I got to try some new things that I haven't tried before. Now, it worked really good for this particular operation, and once I put that back on the system, it definitely removed enough material that the switch now acted completely as an intermittent switch, which is what I was hoping for. So when you're thinking about this project and you're going to do different things, let's say I'm doing these vac pucks right now, but I want to drill holes in vac plates. It's just as simple as changing a little form here, bolts right down to it, and I can be switched over in seconds and then back to work. Now, I'm really interested in what you guys think about something like this. And I'd like to talk about something that's a little bit strange and kind of off kilter here, and that's robots. So I'm very interested in what the future of robots look like. I think robots are going to end up being like the next cars. It's going to be, from the very affordable to the very extravagant. And I think there'll even be people that kind of use that as status symbols. But for me, it's all about form and function. Now, when robots first hit the market, I think programming is going to be a little complicated. There's only going to be certain limited things they can do. But if you were in a shop and you had a lot of repetitive tasks, this would be pretty easy for a robot. It could pick up a part, set it in, pull a lever, drill a hole, pull a part out. Now, if you could do this with several different tasks around the shop, I think they could be really beneficial in the shop. Now, keep it nice down in the comment section, but I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts about the coming onslaught of robots, because it is coming. I mean, if you think about it, we have CNCs, lasers, 3D printers. I think robots just the next logical step. And as they start hitting the market, being able to use them as rapidly as possible, I think in a lot of ways will set those early adopters apart from the people that take time to jump into the robot phase. I know when it makes sense, I'm going to be buying a robot and trying it in the shop. So it should be an interesting ride. Anyway, make sure you comment down in the comment section. I'd love to read everybody's thoughts about that. Keep it nice down there. We have zero tolerance policy for shenanigans. All the robot fantasies aside, I hope that you found this build useful. Obviously, being able to drill holes rapidly, repetitively, exactly is a very beneficial thing for repetitive tasks. I'm going to be sitting here drilling holes in about 160 vac pucks. I should be done in about 10 minutes. Thank you very much for your time for watching this video. If you feel like we've earned your subscription, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. Again, I hope everybody has a good one, and we'll see you in the next video.